in our 6 a.m. alert. Weekend, the mornings still surf will be high and rough, and the swells are very large still, and also just along with the continuous heavy rains at times and thunderstorms and the like, these hurricanes of this intensity do spawn tornadoes at our latitude. And that should wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. Ladies and gentlemen, our Prime Minister will now address the nation.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. You may be seated. Good evening, my parliamentary colleagues, fellow Bahamians and residents, ladies and gentlemen. Along with a delegation which included the leader of the opposition and a number of officials, including Director of NEMA, Captain Stephen Russell, I just returned from an initial assessment and reconnaissance mission to Abaco, provided by the United States of America. As soon as we are given the all clear by the Met Office, we will do an initial assessment of Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama has made a call for volunteer rescuers who have assets that can aid in rescue. Let me emphasize that after our initial assessment, more detailed assessments will be made by a variety of teams from various agencies. Let me talk about our initial assessment of Abaco. 5 deaths are confirmed. There may be additional deaths that we can expect. Of the 25 individuals that were transported to New Providence, 2 has already succumbed. That would take the number of deaths to 7. And again, I want to assure and inform the Bahamian population that we can expect more deaths to be recorded. This is just preliminary information. Let us as a people have compassion for the families of those who lost their lives. Let us pray for them. Please, I ask you to avoid sending or sharing images of those who perished in the storm. Let us act with compassion. Do not make the grief process worse for families by spreading pictures. Parts of Abaco are decimated. There is severe flooding. There is severe damage to homes, businesses, other buildings, and infrastructure. To give you a clearer picture of what was seen while traveling this afternoon, the southern aspect of Abaco has suffered less devastation than the north. The Sandy Port area and progressing north has not suffered as much devastation as was seen in the Marsh Harbor vicinity. The National Airport in Abaco is underwater. The runway is completely flooded. And in fact, the area around the airport now looks like a lake. Marsh Harbor has suffered, I would estimate, in excess of 60% damage to the homes. The mud, as we know, has been completely destroyed or decimated. Progressing further north, the Treasure Key Airport, the runway is still functional. However, the roadway between the main roadway and the airport is flooded and underwater. Cooperstown has suffered some degree of damage, but not nearly as much as is seen in Marsh Harbor. A community just before Cooperstown, but outside of Treasure Key, is cut off from the main population, and in fact, there were at least about 30 individuals who were trapped in this community and were waving yellow flags, sheets, shirts to bring our attention to their survival. The flight engineers had sent the necessary information to a helicopter that was on the ground in the Marsh Harbor area, and I can say to those 30 individuals that the helicopter was dispatched before we had left the area to rescue those 30 individuals who were stranded because of the flooding. Our priority at this time is search, rescue, and recovery. I just want to thank all of those first responders who are acting with courage to save lives and to rescue those in need. We are seeing the courage of Bahamian volunteers who are coming to the rescue of others, using whatever resources they have available at their hand. We are seeing the bravery and fortitude of Bahamians who endured hours and days of horror, fearing for their lives and the lives of their loved ones. Our urgent task will be to provide food, water, shelter, safety, and security. I want to inform those residents in Abaco that the Royal Navy, a 600-foot Royal Navy vessel, will be delivering food to those residents in Abaco in a matter of hours tonight. An additional food will be provided by NEMA tomorrow to the residents of Abaco. Planning is underway, and well-resourced rescue teams are waiting for safe conditions to carry more food, water, and necessary health supplies to residents there. There is an outpouring of support for those devastated by Hurricane Dorian. NEMA is the central agency for disaster relief and recovery efforts. I ask all those who want to assist with relief supplies to coordinate with NEMA. This is vital to ensure that relief supplies and aid are delivered as effectively as possible, and to ensure that these supplies get to those most in need in a timely fashion. Bahamians wishing to donate money, food, water, clothes, or other material should contact the Bahamas Red Cross, NEMA, and the Salvation Army. The U.S. Coast Guard is helping to rescue critically ill and injured individuals. We have sent in a number of additional national security personnel to help secure Abaco. More police and Defense Force officers will be transported to Abaco to ensure safety and security for the residents, so that we would not be faced with the problems of any increase in violence or looting. The American U.S. Coast Guard would facilitate such transportation tomorrow. We have additional Royal Bahamas Defense Force and Royal Bahamas Police Force personnel and assets, including marine vessels with food, water, and supplies, which are going to deploy to Abaco and Grand Bahama. Our national security personnel will be assisted if necessary, by security personnel from a number of CARICOM countries, including some who have pledged naval assets. As I mentioned yesterday, there will be a need for a great act of love and charity by residents on islands not hit hard by the storm. I am heartened by the number of calls we have received from Bahamians at home and from around the world who want to help. Please, I ask for those who want to help and assist to work with reputable charities with proven records. Donate your time, talents, and resources to their relief efforts, and this will make a big difference. It is important for us to continue to pray to God for the safety and well-being of those affected by this monster hurricane. We must now also show our love and charity in acts of generosity over the course of many months. It will take all of us as a caring community, government, church, businesses, and individuals to help restore the lives of our people. NEMA is being strengthened by a task force of senior public servants experienced in dealing with the recovery and reconstruction of our country. Through television and social media, NEMA has provided numbers that can be called for those seeking information or wishing to pass on information to various agencies. We must ensure the maintenance of law and general order, which is especially necessary for rescue and recovery efforts. We are in the midst of one of the greatest national crises in our country's history. The government will bring to bear every resource of state possible to help the people of Abaco and Grand Bahama or any other island nation that's necessary. No effort or resources will be held back. We have all seen the magnitude of the devastation, and we all know it is going to require a massive coordinated effort to rebuild our communities. And we need to rely on the resources of the government and our local and international partners. So we are thankful to all of the charitable organizations and businesses who rally donations from across the globe to help with our reconstruction. Recognizing this, we are inviting charitable organizations and other donor organizations to a meeting tomorrow at NEMA at 11 a.m. The Ministry of Finance, the Department of Customs, and the Department of Internal Revenue will go over the steps necessary to benefit from the exigency orders. Coming tomorrow to the Bahamas to assist us will be the Undersecretary General of the United Nations with responsibility for humanitarian affairs. Tomorrow morning, I will be speaking with the Prime Minister of Canada, Trudeau, who will offer his and the Canadians' assistance. And on Thursday, traveling to our shores to assist us would be the Secretary General of the CARICOM community, along with the Chairman of CARICOM, Prime Minister Alan Chesney of St. Lucia, and the Prime Minister, Mia Mottley of Barbados. May God continue to guide us, and may God continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you very much, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Do you think that this national tragedy will in any way lead to the crippling of the Bahamian dollar, and do you think we can actually recover from such an event?
No, I think we can learn a lot from this national tragedy. And once we demonstrate maturity, sincerity, accountability, and love, respect, and rebuild our country and demonstrate fairness to each and every citizen of this country, I think that in itself would send a message to the international community that would assist in even bringing more charitable affairs. And no, I do not think it would have a great effect on our economy.
Prime Minister, you mentioned that the British Navy vessel as well as NEMA will be bringing supplies to Abaco tomorrow. So what will be done to ensure that, I guess, there isn't any doubling of supplies? And by that I mean the supplies going to one part of the island, like the central, and not being equally distributed to persons in the north or the south, as persons are concerned about persons in the north, their family members in the north, because they haven't had any communications with them.
That is why we have invited, and who's assisting us, the American National Disaster Team, who's accustomed to dealing with this type of disaster. And we have established committees to assist NEMA. Once we complete due diligence and know where we can deliver supplies, materials, equipments, then they would be delivered throughout the length and breadth of the island in various places, and all supplies and equipment would be recorded and monitored appropriately, so as there would be fairness in delivery to each and every individual.
Father?
You speak about you expect that the death toll is going to rise.
Pardon?
You said that you spoke about the death toll may rise. We were hearing reports today about possible deaths on Grand Bahama. What have you heard about that situation?
I base my information on facts, Travis. So I give you facts. Until I receive more facts, then I would give it to you. But there are many things I've heard, but I cannot state just on hearsay. I must give you facts.
Has President Trump called you?
Pardon?
Has President Trump called you? Has he called you? President of the United States?
Personally, no, not personally.
Dr. Minister,
Fanny?
60% of the island.
Is safety and security on the island?
Pardon?
Is safety and security on Abaco and Grand Bahama a great concern for the government right now?
I think once there's any type of national disaster of this magnitude, safety and security should be first and foremost in any government's mind. And we're cognizant of that, and that's why we've dispatched police and defense force as quickly as possible, and that's why we continue to mobilize more police and defense force officers, including our defense force vessels, to ensure that the safety that exists there and the security that exists today maintained, so that it don't get out of hand, as was demonstrated in other countries of the past. We learn from the past and implement it today.
Do you think help from the U.S. is adequate?
Pardon?
Help from the U.S. is it adequate?
I think the U.S. is doing an excellent job with what is being provided.
Francesca, then Ava. Francesca?
Yes, sorry. What's that?
Do you have any confirmation, maybe you could give us a little bit more information about the ages and gender of the people who have died?
We were hearing that an 8-year-old may have died.
Mostly children.
I don't have that detailed information at my fingertips, but we would gladly provide that for you.
Ava?
There's more than, you said more than 60% of Abaco has been decimated. Is there any consideration for evacuation? Is Abaco habitable at this time?
I think we have to do a proper assessment before those determinations can be made. But be assured that first and foremost would be safety, food security, and that would be provided. Just in case you don't know, Bahamians, especially Abaconians, are very resilient. They've gone through this before, and I've seen them rebuild themselves in a matter of time.
I'm sorry, we'll take one more question.
Prime Minister, the two people who succumbed to injuries today, can you give us any details about those?
Pardon?
The two people who died after coming from Abaco, can you give us any details about those? What were their injuries? Anything like that?
I don't know. I don't know those details now.
While we're
Right,
still
thank
in
you
the
very
preliminary
much.
stages, Prime Minister, do you think, and with the assistance that we're getting, do you see this having a major, I guess, impact on the current budget that you guys have now? Would you have to make any major adjustments in terms of moving money around?
I cannot answer that at this particular point in time. What I can say is that we have gotten an outpouring of love, an outpouring of donations, both in food and monetary. And as I've said, if managed appropriately and transparently, I think it may have minimum impact on our budget. However, in spite of that, life to me is by far more important than money. And if that means saving a life would interfere with my budget, I prefer to save a life.
Thank you very much.
And that was the Prime Minister there updating the nation on what steps they intended to take, and at least giving an idea as to the current state in the Bahamas. All right, and we wanted to share that with you, happening right now. Grenada has pledged $100,000 along with the other OACS countries who have pledged the same. We will talk about that and more in tonight's Mikey Live. The news will come up at 9 o'clock. That's in about 10 minutes time from now. We will be having the news for you. So until then, do take care of yourselves. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Good night.